Gemini Ascendant, Gemini Rising. This is your May 2020 video. End of May, but beginning of June. We have a lot of things to go over. We'll touch on the new moon energy. We will touch on some of the other frequencies that are occurring at the end of May. We have some things transitioning. We have Mercury leaving Gemini energy, going into Cancer energy. So understanding where that's occurring in your life will tell you how your thinking is going to change. Remember, Mercury, what we think about. Mercury is our talking, our communicating, and our relating. As it moves into Cancer energy, it takes on a whole different feeling, literally, because Cancer is all about what I feel. Mercury was what I think, what I thought. This is what I feel. So knowing what area in your chart tells us what area of your life it's going to be in. Then we're going to touch in on June. There's going to be 2 eclipses that happen in the month of June. A South Node eclipse, what does it mean? We want to talk about where's the eclipse happening in your life, because when eclipses occur, things happen. Things change. People go out of our life, or we go out of others' lives. Our home changes, our job changes. It brings big changes. So breaking down the eclipse to the degree of knowing what degree it is, and if you have any planets or significant points there, will tell you how strong and what kind of an effect it'll be on your life. So Gemini, let's dive deep into your astrology. On the 22nd of May, we had a 2-degree, sun at 2 degrees, moon at 2 degrees. This was what creates a new moon. New moon in Gemini means it was in your first house, all right? 2 degrees. Find out where 2 degrees is in your chart. Find out, you're going to have to know your cusp line. You're going to have to know your ascendant sign, like how many degrees it is. Some folks, it could be in varying degrees. There could be a little bit of Gemini in your 12th house. There could be all Gemini in your first house. If you don't know, comment and I can let you know. I will tell you. I will do your chart. I will look at it. I will comment back and say, hey, this is going to be in this location and this is what it's going to mean. Gemini, for the next 18 months, right? The North Node is right now at 18 degrees of your sign. All right, so this means that this area of your life for the next, which is your first house, it's your ascendant. It's who you are. It's who you appear to be. The talker, the thinker, the communicator, the person who's quick, who's smart, who's funny, who's crafty, right? That's Gemini energy, right? Sometimes they got thoughts that come in that just seem to be like out of nowhere because Mercury's really fast and that's your ruler, right? Mercury's like lightning, messenger of the gods, bringing in Gemini energy, and it's going to be transforming. It's going to be changing. So people are going to be looking at you over the next 18 months and watching, like, I'm hearing a metamorphosis, seeing the caterpillar go into the stage of the cocoon, and then at the end of that 18 months, come out of its, right? To come out of the what is that thing it's called? The chrysalis. They come out of the chrysalis and they have these beautiful wings and they start to fly. So this is you, Gemini, right? And for anybody else who's listening, this is wherever Gemini is in your chart, understanding what area of your life it's in. So if you don't know or if you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you tap the bell so you get information as to when we do the next upload. Because if you are new and if you don't have your own chart, if you don't know what your rising sign is, it's not your birthday. It is not your sun sign, because that's what your birthday is. It's tied into a birth time. What we're going to talk about is, what does a new moon mean? And I'm only going to touch on this briefly because I have other videos up already about this, but it's a time of setting intentions. It's a time of bringing in what we want. It's the initial, it's the step 1. This is in your first house, so this is all about me, me, me. Who I am, who I appear to be in the world. Here's something to understand about Gemini energy. Not that you probably haven't heard it, because you probably have. But there are multiple dual signs, right? Signs that possess like strong elements of duality, right? Like there's this contrast, there's this compare, there's this, wow, this looks like this looks like this, and they seem so different. How is it possible? Because they're within the same thing. Duality is a big Gemini theme. Gemini can be so flexible, so mutable, so changeable, so malleable, right? Like I can just take this piece of clay and mold it and shape it into something different. And 5 minutes later, I can do the same thing and it looks like something different again. This is Gemini energy. This is Gemini loves communicating and thinking and speaking, but at the same time, learning. Gemini loves knowledge, loves little things to think about and to chew on and to learn and to absorb. This is Gemini energy. And so this is what you look like to people, all right? But this is what you're going through. Now, when I started talking about duality, I want you to really hold on to something. It is your soul, all right? What's on your rising sign? I know a lot of people, I've heard so many people say this. They're like, yeah, but your sun sign is your soul's energy. In esoteric astrology, your rising sign is your soul. There might be a depth that you could have where it's very different from a person who is a Gemini sun sign, okay? Because our sun sign is our personality, all right? It's how we shine, it's how we express, right? It's part of our personality. The rising sign, yes, it is our appearance, it's what we project onto the world, but your rising sign, you know, there is this other element, there is this behind the scenes, there is this really deep part of the rising sign. And so for Geminis, it becomes more obvious. It's because they're this talker, this thinker, this communicator. So for others who view you and who see you, for them in some way, they can see this other part of you very clearly that you probably don't see. It's like a self-mystery. And so that's one of the beautiful things about the Gemini sign, which, you know, can be difficult at times when there are aspects of who you are that you're not certain of, or aspects of who you are that you feel very confident in and very certain of, and coming to find out that some of those things may not be what you thought. And so this brings us to this new moon. The sun and the moon together, the moon representing emotions, a time of focusing intent, focusing the emotions on what we want. So this is all about you. What do you want to bring forth? Think about your future. Think about what you need for your future. Now, because of all the times, right, because of the pandemic and how life has changed so drastically, we probably have some insight into that, a little bit deeper than we had before. Or things that we thought we valued, we realize, oh my gosh, I really don't need that in my life. There's a simplicity that's going on, and it's chipping away all the excess, all the unnecessaries, right? All the things that were just kind of dangling, all the distractions, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, now that all that's gone, I realize I didn't need any of that to begin with. And so then you really do see more clearly, now that the table's been cleared off and there's only a few things left on it, it's like, okay, wow, yeah, that's important to me. I want that going forward. So that's what this is about, understanding what you want and then making sure that you set an intention based on that. And this has to do with who you are, who you want to be, what your own goals and aspirations and hopes are in the world, how you think about yourself, how you value yourself. All right, and maybe that's all going through a transformation, and very much likely is. Very much. Venus is in your sign. It will be there for a long time, all the way until August. Venus is loving myself. It's in your first house. So it's your thoughts of who you are and how do you talk to yourself. You know, is there a support system within yourself? Have you discovered degrees of your being that you can say, gosh, I really like that about me? Have you discovered degrees of your being where you're like, oh God, I really don't like that about me? And then how do you handle it? How do you go from there? What is the next step after that? Is there this constant negative down talk that goes on, or is there a way of learning how to work constructively within yourself and how to move forward, how to progress, how to grow, how to evolve? At the new moon, other than the sun and the moon being in Gemini, we've got Mercury and Venus conjunct exactly, like at 21 degrees. Now, the big deal is that the planet Neptune is in Pisces at this time, and it's also at 21 degrees, and it's squaring really harshly, like exactly, with Mercury and Venus. So Mercury and Venus together represent lovey, beautiful, idealistic communication, right? Mercury's talking, thinking, speaking, selling, right? Sales. It's my siblings, right? It's coworkers. It's my community. It's, you know, there's a lot of camaraderie there. It is a sign of humanity, but they're people. So that's why I say humanity. At the same time, when you have Neptune squaring that, right? That means Neptune's squaring your thinking. So in other words, remember, Neptune makes things foggy. Neptune is all about the 5D realm, which is over there. You can't see it. Or whatever you do see, it's going to look a little fuzzy. It's not going to be clear. There's this murky fog that's rolled in, right? It's the murky waters. So that happens then with your communication, with your speech, with your thinking, with your talking, and the ways that you relate. People kind of been looking and like, did that person just say that, right? So we're already seeing it on the internet, right? We all are on whatever our social platform is, because that's Gemini energy, social media. And when you have all this energy there, right, the North Node for the next 18 months there, it double emphasizes, triple emphasizes talking, thinking, speaking, relating, communicating, networking, big time. This can be a really wonderful experience. If you're open to learning, you're going to learn how to navigate the internet. You're going to learn how to talk to people on the internet, but in ways that it's beneficial, because Gemini energy is business and trade. It's commerce. And so this is all about how we can do that in our community. Now, whether it's your immediate environment, right, or whether it's your community on the internet, either way, you're going to learn how to make sure that those lines aren't separate anymore, right? All of a sudden, that online community can become very close to home via the internet, and vice versa. Know where your Neptune energy is coming from. So Neptune is in Pisces at 21. That's your 10th house. Your 10th house is your goals, your ambitions. The 10th house is where you express your best. All right, so there's this very we are all one Piscean energy there. It can also be delusional, though, depending upon what's going on, especially at that time. Just be aware of communications that happen. People might seem a little irrational, where they might seem a little illogical, where you might hear from somebody who has nothing but sweet words, or might be selling something that sounds really good, like too good to be true. It's a possibility of information being crossed, of communications going on, and misinterpretations, misunderstandings, or people who could be deliberately using these energies for their better, right? Meaning like they can make you promises and not deliver. So you just want to be aware of stuff like that, especially when we have Venus retrograding. And the big rule of thumb with a Venus retrograde, especially in Gemini, especially when Neptune is squaring it, because Neptune slows our thinking down, right? It clouds it. And Venus is all about our resources, our finances, our money, what we value, but our tangible values. So when it comes to spending money, we want to be careful. We want to pay attention, right? Read reviews, see who recommends it, do your homework, and you're going to have to be diligent. And just whatever you do, Venus retrograde, the recommendation is never make a major purchase. So this Venus is retrograding all the way until June 24th, June 25th. So hold on to your money, all right? If you make any purchases, make sure they're small, all right? Small things and things that are a necessity. End of May, we have Mercury leaving Gemini energy. And this is going to be like the 28th, I want to say. Mercury 28th, yes. Mercury goes from Gemini to Cancer energy. So your Cancer energy is going to be in house number 2, right? So house number 2 is your values, is your resources. Cancer means I value home, having feelings and emotions, but that are related to family. Mom, being mom, my mom, women in your life in general, especially people who have a nurturing quality, you're going to truly, truly hold on to them, okay? Because this is, the second house is, I love this, I want it, I'm keeping it. And Cancer energy there means family. So anybody that you would consider family. They don't have to be blood people, it could be anybody who just feels like family. You have history with people in that house because it's Cancer energy. And Cancer, the 4th house, this is our past, right? And so this is people we've had lifetimes with, okay? And this is important. Having those people in your life is going to give you emotional satisfaction. When Mercury goes there at the end of May, so that means your thoughts from self transition into thoughts of your emotions, and they become about family. Now, we do have a Mercury who stays in Cancer and goes retrograde in Cancer. I will do another video on that, so make sure, if you haven't already done it, that you tap that bell so that you get the reminders, because when Mercury does a retrograde in Cancer, this could be tricky. Okay, Cancer is very emotional. So Mercury doesn't do real good in Cancer energy because Mercury is very logical and rational and thinking. And it's all about, I can see clearly and make decisions. But when our emotions get involved, that changes. And so Mercury not only is going to be in Cancer, but retrograding in Cancer. So this will happen in the middle of June, towards the butt end of June. And I'll do another video on that, and I'll tell you what that's going to look like in regards to other things that are happening. And these other things that are going to be happening are going to be the eclipses. June is the eclipse season, for real. It kicks it off in a bang. June 5th is the first eclipse. I do have a video out already, the June 5th eclipse, and understanding the meaning of a south node lunar eclipse, because that's what this eclipse it is. Now this is at 15 degrees Sagittarian energy. This is a big deal. Find out what your rising, right, your Gemini rising, find out what the degree is on your ascendant. And I say this because anytime we have an eclipse, the big deals are when you have a matching degree on the eclipse, which would be a conjunction, or something that, if you have something that matches at the very opposite of it, which would be an opposition. So 15 degrees of Sagittarius is, opposite of that is 15 degrees of Gemini. Gemini is you, right? So find out what is your rising ascendant number, and that'll tell you how you're going to be affected by this eclipse. Also see if you have any planets in Sagittarius. Look, you're looking for 15 degrees Sagittarius. You can give it a couple degree orb either way, but no more than 2 degrees. So anything that's going to square the Sagittarian and the Gemini energy would be the 90 degrees away, either left hand 90 degrees or the right hand 90 degrees. And that's going to be Pisces energy or Virgo energy. Now this eclipse is very big, and I really want you to make sure, whether you have anything at those degrees, I want you to make sure you go and watch that other video. I'll actually attach it below, because by transit we have some major things in Pisces energy, and you're going to want to be able to know in depth what that's going to look like, because it's happening globally, and how that's going to play out. This is going to be an eclipse that's all about releasing something. And our emotions are really going to be involved. And because it's an eclipse and it's the moon, right? It's the south node lunar eclipse. It's like a major release, and a major emotional release. Now, you know, if you're Gemini ascendant, that this is the eclipse happens in your 7th house. You have Sagittarius energy there. So please comment and let me know. You got any questions about this, and I'll help you to figure this out. Now, when we go to the next eclipse for June, it's June 21st eclipse. And this is big. It's another big one, and it's a big rare eclipse actually, because this eclipse is at 0 degrees in Cancer. 0 degrees Cancer, this is a cardinal point eclipse, which makes it extra powerful. First of all, Cancer is a cardinal sign, and it happens at 0 degrees. 0 of any sign is a cardinal degree. Now the cardinal energy is something new is beginning, like it's the dawn of the day. Action, you know, there's things are changing. And because it's Cancer energy, it is home. It is our emotions. I'm hearing clearly there's going to be like global healings. There's going to be many, 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 many people who will be receiving information where a clearing away of energy will just occur, like a sloughing off type of thing, because this is past life stuff. So look to find out if you have something at 0 degrees Cancer, and yes, this is in your 2nd house of values. If you have something there, okay, this would likely be a really big deal. You know, it's a possibility you may have lost loved ones already, you know, whether it's mom or grandma. Typically it would signify a female individual in the life, a nurturing female individual. If you don't know, comment below and I can find that out for you. I can help you out to better understand what to expect or what not to expect. You know, sometimes it's even nice just to hear, you got a green light, you're all clear, you got nothing squaring, it's going to be okay. You know, if it is, it might be a friend of a friend of a friend type of thing. The surprise that there's another eclipse coming, and it's not that far away. It's in July. I mean, we have 3 eclipses literally like within 6 weeks. And so it's major, change. So the next eclipse, the July eclipse, is July 4th. and it's in the sign of Capricorn, like 13 to 14 degrees. So I want you to, again, to find out where that is in your chart. Find out if you have planets at those degrees. Your Capricorn energy, I can tell you the location. Your Capricorn energy is your 8th house. So again, this is another emphasis on people you're really close to, because the 8th houses are deeply emotionally bonded relationships. So seeing if you have a planet there, finding out if it's within 2 degrees of this eclipse point. See if there's anything opposite of it. Eclipse energy here, 13, 14 degrees Capricorn. The opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, 13 or 14 degrees, right? You see the Cancer Capricorn stuff still occurring. By the way, this is the last eclipse. This is the last round of Cancer Capricorn eclipses. So while we were in those, if you were being hit hard by them, this is the last one. And Capricorn energy is that very tangible 3D material energy in your 8th house. So this is most definitely shared resources, right? It's folks that you're bonded to, not just emotionally, but materially bonded to. That's what Capricorn in the 8th house would be. All right, so Gemini, Ascendant, Gemini rising, I hope you're doing well, and I hope this has put some light on your path. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Comment below. Bye.